Okay, so we're going to do what you're thinking, feeling, versus what your person's thinking and feeling, with an outcome and the challenge here. Okay, let's have a look. So we'll start with you. What's my viewer feeling right now? I lost myself for a little while. The timing just wasn't right for us. I replay our conversations over and over. So that's you. Okay, my viewer's person. We will be together again. You don't know how hard it was to let go. I wish I had treated you better. Okay. How did you lose yourself in this connection? How did my viewer lose themselves? What happened there? You made this person potentially the centre of your world. You lost enthusiasm in everything else, or you pushed things to one side. Maybe you just literally were focusing on your connection here because you wanted it to work. But unfortunately, whilst you're giving your full attention to someone, you're missing out on other parts of your life. Work, friendships, what matters to you. And I think you lost that and you became very overwhelmed and anxious in the end with this connection, because maybe you was relying upon this person for your happiness a bit too much. The timing wasn't right for us. Why do you think that? You felt this person wasn't choosing you. You put this person on a pedestal. You really looked up to this person. Maybe this person's very well educated, very good at the job, they work hard, you saw them as very stable, but this person you felt wasn't choosing you. They were indecisive when it came to you. And I think you're putting that down to bad timing rather than actual behavioural problems from this person. If this person wasn't choosing you, why? Why did they make you feel like that? Why did that bring out this anxiety in you? Maybe that's what's going around and around right now. Maybe you're trying to gain some clarity on this situation. I replay our conversations over and over. Maybe you discussed a future with this person. I think you did. I think this person made you at one point feel like the commitment was there, it was on the table. So you're confused because you put so much of your time and your effort into this relationship. You trusted this person, you, like I say, you looked up to this person, you relied upon this person far too much, I think. And you had these conversations of the future and maybe having babies and marriage, and for some reason along the way this person either wasn't choosing you or you felt they weren't choosing you, and this then made this connection get stuck or feel stuck, like it wasn't moving anywhere. You didn't feel this person was actually, they might have been saying that they wanted that, but actually they weren't putting in action to do any of that, which is possibly why you're replaying this. Well, this conversation, we had this, and it was emotional. They were emotionally available. We talked about the future. We was all aligned, and then something's happened where this got stuck. This person, your person, we will be together again. My viewer's person. So they're feeling trapped as well in their own head, uncertain about certain things. More. They've reflected on this. They know that they've caused you a lot of... You feel this person might have manipulated you emotionally, and they're aware that they have made you feel like that. They have gone through their own pain when it's come to this. They feel a loss. They feel quite trapped. They don't really know. They want to... I think they've realised that they want to be with you now, but they're unsure of how to make that happen currently. You don't know how hard it was to let go. My viewer's person. We'll take them. Yeah, this person's in a lot of regret now, looking back at the good times. They possibly acted quite impulsively here when they walked away from you, or they switched up on you. It was like 1 minute they were fully in, the next they'd be gone. It was very hot and cold behaviour here. This person might have been struggling with some addictions that you weren't aware of, or their ego just got in the way here. They know the behaviour was potentially quite toxic here, but they feel a lot of regret and pain over this now. I wish I'd treated you better. This person wants to come in and offer you something more balanced, more stable. They see you as a soulmate. They know that they haven't given you what you've needed here. They've reflected upon that. They want to come in and show you that they do care. What's the outcome here for these two? Outcome. There could have been third-party involvement here. This person knows they weren't prioritising you at times. They were juggling lots of things. Possibly, like I say, addiction here. Maybe they overindulged in something. It doesn't have to be drugs, alcohol, whatever. It doesn't have to be that. It could just be overindulging in something in their life that caused an imbalance here. But they see you as the Empress. What's the challenge for my viewer here? The challenge is that you're no longer holding on to this. Yeah. This person might have realised a little bit too late what they messed up here. You put so much of your time and effort and energy into this to be left, basically, with no answers, no closure. You're coming into that realisation now of that this wasn't right, how you were treated. You have now let go. This has exhausted you because of the lack of clarity, the lack of closure, the emotional manipulation that went on here, the hot and cold behaviour, the overindulgence. This person might have even made you get jealous on purpose, so they'd come and tell you things that they knew would upset you or make you feel imbalanced because of their ego. Now your challenge is when this person does come back in to express to you that they know they should have treated you better. The problem is that now you might have healed too much from this. You might have let go. Anything else? You're focusing on yourself, your own goals, your own dreams right now. You're finding yourself again without this person, and you found enthusiasm and you're wanting something new. It's going to be difficult for this person to come back in and for you to take them. I think too much has happened here. I think you've gained your own clarity, and you're a new person after this. You've grown, and this person hasn't grown. They've realised, but there's nothing with growth. Yeah, they made you feel vulnerable and the low self-esteem. They offered you nothing. They didn't offer you enough. Anything else? This person has hope in this. They know they've caused an imbalance in this connection, that you potentially won't trust them. They're aware of that. They're not blind to that, but they've had a massive awakening, a massive aha moment when it comes to you. But unfortunately for them, I think it might be a little bit too late. You've regained the confidence that you've lost. You've found your own closure. You don't need this person to come back in and validate you anymore. You know you're enough. Good luck. Bye.